Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to Golden Eagle Sports Report.
I'm Kaylee Starro.
And I'm Andrew Amuzu.
Tonight, we talk about the start of both the women's and men's basketball teams. So get ready, Marquette Nation, because Golden Eagle Sports Report starts right now.
Slam dunk! Oh, that's a poster. From the Jeannie Hayes Virtual Studio at Marquette University, this is Golden Eagle Sports Report.
Marquette gets the rebound, and the champions have gone down!
The women's basketball team is currently playing against Alcorn State in their first game of the season. The Golden Eagles are leading the Lady Braves 35-18 at the half. We now would like to welcome in women's basketball beat reporter Ben Schultz, who is in the newsroom with live updates on the match. Ben, it's great to have you.
It's great to be here.
So, what are your first initial thoughts from the squad? Who is standing out?
So far, Lauren started the match 5 for 5. She's leading the team in scoring right now with 13 points. But they do have 11 turnovers so far in this first half, and so that's going to be something that they're going to have to change going into the second half. Liza Carlin got her first start tonight in her young career, and so looking forward into that second half. We'll see if she can get on the board. She's got 6 rebounds right now, and so we'll see if she can go into the second half, make an impact.
And you mentioned Liza Carlin. She used to be a former teammate of Paige Beckers, who's just a standout for UConn. What do you think her role is going to be this season?
Last season she saw nearly 40% from 3, and she's a forward. So if they can get some outside scoring out of her, it's going to be massive, helping this team long term. Anytime you can get a forward who can stretch the floor, even score inside the paint, that always helps the team, especially late in the stretch in conference tournament play and then even in tournament play.
Yeah, and this team might need some help, especially with losing Selena Lott. How does the team look without her? Is there anyone who is stepping into the role right off the bat?
Yeah, so Carissa McLaughlin, the transfer out of Purdue, she started the game firing right away. She made an early three-pointer, and then she didn't stop shooting it. She is the Purdue's all-time leading three-point makes. And so if she can be on the ball, off the ball from the guard position, help to ease the load for Jordan King, that's going to be massive. And then they also brought in Kennedy Miles, who I think is going to be a great bench piece for this team in her time at Illinois. She started every game in her time there. Very high energy, can get rebounds. She's averaged just around 8 points a game last season, and so that's going to be a big piece for them.
And how do you think they're going to be key into this transition from Selena Lott and possibly LVK after this season, Lauren Van Clunen? What is their transition going to be like, especially being the next leaders for this team?
I think it's going to be massive. If Jordan King can play well next year, I think that's a veteran guard, or will be a veteran guard, that will need to step up. Liza Carlin's just in her second year here. She has the potential to be a big player, big name. Kennedy Miles, like I mentioned earlier, she has the potential to make her name a big name at Marquette. And then Lauren, she's going to be missed. She's been here, this is her 6th year. So it's really hard to replace a player like her, especially one who can play inside, outside, especially at the forward position. Those players are so valuable in college basketball.
Leaders like Jordan King, who is, continuing to ascend, but she did have a sophomore slump. What do you think about her transition into this year, and what can we expect from her?
I think you can expect a lot. Her and Carissa McLaughlin being those two guards, they can both handle the point if needed. They can both play off the ball. And if Jordan King, she played wing in high school, and so she can get back to that, maybe not necessarily on the ball so much. And then hopefully she can improve her three-point percentage, because spacing the floor is always necessary, especially when they want to get it to Lauren down low. Teams won't be able to collapse on her. And if that's able to happen, Jordan King will be able to have a big year for Marquette and follow in the tradition of having big guards or good guards at Marquette.
All right, Ben, so enough about the future. Let's stay in the present. The team is winning, so what does the team need to do in order to maintain their lead and secure the victory?
I think they'll have to cut back on their turnovers. They had 11 in the first half. They're out-rebounding Alcorn State, which is massive, but the turnovers, if they can cut those down, they're not shooting the best from three-point range right now. They're 2 for 10, so if they can make a couple more of those, I know some players were in early foul trouble, so if those players can stay out of foul trouble in the second half, I think they'll be able to carry on, keep the winning going, and then maybe see some time from players. Maybe Lauren or Liza Carlin will be able to play a little bit more, and then hopefully Lauren will continue how she's playing.
Fingers crossed, Ben. But finally, how can the Golden Eagles carry this momentum into the rest of their season, and what can we expect after today?
Well, if they can fix the turnovers, I think that'll be big. And then Jordan King starting off with the big game, Lauren Van Clunen starting off with a big game, that'll be massive. Set a precedent early in the season for those two players, expecting them to have big seasons. Even Kennedy Miles, who's been aggressive early so far, which has been big. Hopefully we see Liza Carlin getting some shots this second half.
Well, thank you so much for taking the time, Ben. We appreciate the insights.
Thank you.
And today has officially been declared Marquette Basketball Day by Milwaukee Mayor Tom Barrett and Marquette Athletic Director Bill Scholl. Now that the basketball season is back in full swing, Marquette fans are excited to get back into the stands. Molly Gretzlock has more.
Basketball season is upon us, and Marquette students are.
It's very exciting.
I'm super excited. If Shotgun can beat Bowie State, he can beat anyone.
The Marquette men's and women's teams both tip off their season tonight at home.
We don't have a football team, so this is like our time to shine.
Soon these empty seats will be filled with fans.
Yeah, I was at the exhibition game and it was a lot of fun, so I'm really excited for this game. It's a lot of fun, like going to a college sports game and like just kind of the community around it.
Students are ready to finally watch both teams in person.
It's good because my sister also go here and she said that she couldn't really go to none of the games because of COVID, so yeah, I'm excited, really excited.
Sharing the same arena as the 2021 NBA champs, the Milwaukee Bucks, is something that offers an opportunity for fans that not many other schools have.
I mean, that's awesome that we got the 1977 pennant right next to the Bucks 2021. Hopefully we can get another one up there this year.
And the start of the Shaka Smart era has high hopes.
I think some of the luck's gonna rub off on Marquette.
Exactly. I hope that we get to go to the tournament by the time that we leave here at some point.
We got 4 years.
Reporting from the AMU, I'm Molly Gretzlock, Marquette Wire Sports.
And when we come back, the men's basketball team tips off its regular season opener in just under 30 minutes. We're going to hear from men's basketball beat reporter Aiden Hatton, who's live in studio, so keep it here after the break.
Before we celebrate the freedom most Americans have, we must fight for the freedom all Americans deserve. Because all lives can't matter until Black lives matter.
There are a lot of ways to reach out to a friend about their mental health. Learn how you can help at seizetheawkward.org.
Meet the Scan, a simple procedure whose mission is to detect lung cancer early.
I'm here to save you!
But I feel fine.
That's great, but you may still be at high risk for lung cancer.
Oh man, that's a new fence.
If you smoke, early detection could save your life. Learn more at savedbythescan.org.
It all can get so out of control.
sometimes you can lose your faith, you can lose your mind, lose your grip, get stripped of your pride, till you don't know how you're gonna stay alive. Hey, hey, I got you. I will give you what you need, and I'll be right there. I got you back. I got you.
Welcome back to Golden Eagle Sports Report. Once again, I'm Andrew Muzu.
And I'm Kaylee Starl.
Although the men's basketball team opens up its regular season tonight, the Shaka Smart era has already begun, Kaylee.
Yeah, you're right, Andrew. And Tyler Peters is going to tell us a little bit more.
And so it begins. For 10 players, 4 coaches, and many students, it's their first time experiencing a Marquette men's basketball game at Fiserv Forum. The Golden Eagles look to make a strong first impression as they take on a Division II opponent in the Bowie State Bulldogs.
Hopefully tonight, the people that came to watch us got a chance to see a lot of spirit and enthusiasm from our guys and a level of just passion for each other and passion for winning.
The exhibition match is over before it even starts. Marquette storms out to a 15-2 lead 5 minutes into the first half. Thanks to a plethora of turnovers from the Bulldogs, the Golden Eagles go into halftime with a comfortable 48-17 lead. It's smooth sailing the rest of the way for Marquette, earning a 98-40 victory.
We've been waiting for this opportunity for a long time, and the guys were just really, really excited to get on the court. It really didn't matter that it was an exhibition game. It really didn't matter that it was a Division II opponent. We just wanted to play in Fiserv Forum, our home floor, in front of some of our fans.
Redshirt first-year guard Tyler Kolek finishes the match with a team-high 15 points along with 4 rebounds and 7 assists.
My teammates were just finding me in the right spots, and we got good looks. So, the first time with fans, it's really special. This place is obviously a great arena. Bucks play here, we play here.
Marquette opens up its regular season against Southern Illinois University Edwardsville at home on Tuesday. Reporting from Fiserv Forum, I'm Tyler Peters, Marquette Wire Sports.
And I know I said before the break we were going to hear from Aiden. We'll hear from him in a little bit. Right now we want to welcome in executive sports producer Tyler Peters, who's actually live at Fiserv Forum. Tyler, it is great to have you back on the show. We're glad to see you. And so what's the vibe like at the arena right now? Are fans excited for this new era of Marquette men's basketball? We're actually having some technical difficulties right now, so we're going to actually bring back Aiden, who's a men's basketball beat reporter, to fill us in on the game tonight and what we can expect after the break.
Awkward. I'm the awkward silence. You try to avoid me, then there I am again.
But an awkward silence can be a great thing.
Like Kelly here is about to demonstrate.
You haven't really been yourself lately. Are you okay?
Find out how you can help a friend with their mental health at seizetheawkward.org.
After you joined our family, it was like, I really do feel complete now.
Before we celebrate the freedom most Americans have, we must fight for the freedom all Americans deserve. Because all lives can't matter until Black lives matter.
I'm Jenny Garth, and as a mother of 3, I know kids worry about a lot of things. Getting enough food to eat shouldn't be one of them. But here in America, that is a real worry for 1 in 5 children. This is unacceptable, and something Feeding America is working to solve. Through a nationwide network of food banks, Feeding America serves virtually every community in the United States, including yours. See how you can help your community. Visit feedingamerica.org. Together, we can solve hunger. Together, we're Feeding America.
Roll over. When you adopt a shelter pet, you discover all the things that make them unique.
And your mother.
They're a little bit of a lot of things, but they're all pure love.
Every day.
Millions of people are connecting. Father.
Cosplayer.
Mentor.
Actor. It's time we take a step forward, come together,
and discover
how accepting our differences
can make us stronger.
And welcome back to Golden Eagle Sports Report. I'm Kaylee Starl. We had some technical difficulties, but that doesn't mean we're done talking about Marquette men's basketball. So we're now going to bring in Aiden Hatton, who's a men's basketball beat reporter, to kind of fill us in on this new era of Marquette men's basketball. Aiden, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me, Kaylee.
And so, Aiden, we want to know, this is the Smart era of men's basketball. So what does Coach Smart bring to this team that's different from years past?
I think it's head coaching experience. Obviously, the last head coaching regime with Steve Wojciechowski, he came straight from Duke and under head coach Mike Krzyzewski as an assistant. But Shaka Smart has been with not only VCU, but also Texas, and has had NCAA tournament stops at both places. So I think the Wojciechowski era slowed the transition more than what Marquette fans wanted. But I think what you'll see with Coach Smart, thanks to his past head coaching experience, is a quicker transition, hopefully, to winning.
Sure. And so we all have our eyes on Smart tonight. Which players do you have your eye on for tonight's match against Southern Illinois University, Edwardsville?
Well, Kaylee, I'll give you two, one from the offensive side and one from the defensive side of the ball.
All right.
We'll start with defense because that's what Coach Smart is all about. And for me, that defensive player is going to be Kur Kuath. And he came with Shaka Smart from the Big 12, albeit at Oklahoma. But Kur Kuath will be the starting center. Shaka has already proclaimed this for the majority of the season, it looks like, for these first few games. And he'll have a tremendous impact on that defensive side of the ball, great shot blocker. And then on the offensive side of the ball, how about Tyler Kolek? This guy was the offensive MVP, really the game MVP, according to John Liuzzi from last week's exhibition game. 15 points. He had 5 for 8 from the three-point line. But not only is he a deep threat shooter, he's also a great passer, which Coach Smart has talked about at length. So those are the two guys, one from the offense, one from the defense, that I'm looking at tonight.
Sure. Expectations are high. And just finally, we want to know, how do you see this game playing out? Will Marquette pull through with a win tonight?
I think so, Kaylee. I think you're going to see a dominant defensive effort, again, first and foremost, from Shaka Smart-led teams. Kur Kuath will dominate the block, as well as we said, we'll see Tyler Kolek shoot from outside the three-point line. And another guy who's making his big second-year transition into Marquette, Justin Lewis, you'll see him on the rebounding side of the ball as well. So I think against an inferior opponent in SIUE, you're going to see Marquette have that that domination in the paint, and that's what's going to lead them to victory tonight.
Absolutely. We're all eyes on the game tonight. As always, Aiden, we appreciate your time. And coming up, we'll be talking about how both the men and women will fare this season. So stick around because GESR will be right back.
Have you ever seen somebody treated unfairly because of the color of their skin?
Do you guys know what it means to have white privilege?
What is racism and what do you think about it?
Talk to young children about what racism is, giving them the language to understand it. They can be disruptors. They can shape and shift culture.
We may not always know the answer, but we'll try and help you learn.
You don't have to have all the answers, but that doesn't mean we can't start.
There are a lot of ways to reach out to a friend about their mental health. Learn how you can help at seizetheawkward.org.
What are you looking for?
And we're back in the studio as we will talk about everything Marquette basketball related. Joining me tonight is once again Aiden Hatton, and welcome him back, Ben Schultz. Let's get started. So, Aiden, we'll start with you. Here are your picks for the men's team this coming season as they will finish off. The men's team to finish the 6th place position in the Big East Conference, yet you have them earning an NCAA tournament bid. Can you please explain this, because I don't understand, Aiden?
Absolutely, Andrew. I think it comes down to you're going to see a stronger Big East Conference this season. If you look at the top 5 teams in the Big East preseason poll, they all have 2 E's, elite experience. And you have one player that has that elite experience coming with each of those teams. Villanova, Colin Gillespie. UConn, RJ Cole. Xavier, Paul Scruggs. St. John's, Julian Champagny. And Seton Hall has Jared Rhoden. I think those top 5 teams all have that elite leadership that you want moving into those later parts of the season. And then once you get to that bottom 6 in the Big East, I think the most uncertain team is Marquette, with not only Shaka Smart's new head coaching staff, but also almost an entirely new roster. And I think almost no one knows what we'll see from the Golden Eagles this year. I'm an eternal optimist. And I think once you get past that top 5 in the Big East, there's a lot of uncertainty and ambiguity. So that's where I put Marquette in a stronger Big East Conference this season.
And moving on to the women's team, they've been elite and they have that experience. Ben, here are your picks for this coming season. You have them picked to finish 2nd in the conference and going to the round of 32 in the March Madness tournament. What makes you believe the team will be this successful?
Yeah, they have a lot of college basketball experience. They have 3 starters returning from last year. And then we found out tonight that Liza Carlin was going to be one of the starters, and then transfer Carissa McLaughlin. So they have a lot of college basketball experience, especially at the guard position with Carissa McLaughlin, like I just mentioned, coming from Purdue, and she's a grad student. And then Jordan Kings in her 3rd year at Marquette. She was able to learn from Selena Lott a lot about how to run this offense. Selena Lott was one of the defensive players of the year last year, so hopefully she took something from that. And I think she'll be able to bring it into this season, take it to the Big East. And then Lauren Van Clunen at the big. She's going to be a big part of their success if they want to be successful. And then UConn obviously has to be number 1. They're a storied program, one of the best ever in the sport of women's college basketball. So I don't think Marquette will be that high, especially because UConn's highly ranked to start the season. But I think with all the returners that they have, the experience, that'll add for them to have a successful season.
And listen, Ben, Marquette faced UConn in the Big East Championship last year, and it didn't look too good. But do you think that they'll give UConn a run for their money this season?
I think UConn's going to be tough. Paige Beckers is coming into her 2nd year. I believe she's preseason player of the year nationally and in the Big East. So that's going to be tough to stop her. They have other players, obviously, but they're just such a powerhouse that I think it'll be tough for us to get them. But I think finishing 2nd will definitely be respectable.
It's that underdog mentality, Ben. You got to keep up that optimism. But switching over to the men's team, there were only 3 returning players from last year's roster. Will having a bunch of new faces make it difficult to establish chemistry, Aiden?
Undoubtedly, Andrew, but I think it actually helps that there's a new coaching staff as well, with Shaka Smart, DeAndre Haynes, Cody Hatt, Nevada Smith. All these new faces within the coaching staff are going to feed off the energy of the new players and vice versa. So I think it actually helps that you have a young roster, but also a young coaching staff. And I think together they'll feed off each other's energy, which is why I'm high on the Marquette men's basketball team heading into this season and ultimately heading into Big East Conference time.
And listen, Shaka's all about relationships, and some of his players even transferred from Texas to Marquette. How do you think that will help the team chemistry overall?
Yeah, Andrew, Texas and Marquette's weather are definitely not the same. So I think that is a testament to Shaka Smart's recruiting ability. Yeah, the guy who comes from Texas who really is, I think, will be the biggest difference maker is David Joplin. He's a Wisconsin native, only a first-year guy, but he sees himself predominantly as a shooter, and in college basketball, you can never have too many of those.
And going back to the women, many faces return to the team, including graduate student Lauren Van Clunen. So how important will the veteran leadership be to the Golden Eagles' success this season, Ben?
I think it'll be vital. There's a lot of veterans, like you said. Lauren's coming back for her 6th year at Marquette, 5th playing as she redshirted her 1st year. And that veteran leadership is going to be important when it comes to the tournament time, either the Big East tournament or, like I projected, them getting to the 2nd round of the NCAA tournament. That's when experience matters most because people have been in those big games. Lauren, even Jordan King, who's expected to see some time, and then Chris McLaughlin, who saw time at Purdue. So that experience is going to be major coming down the stretch of those big tournament games, especially if they're in a close game against UConn or if they're in like an 8-9, 7-10 sort of matchup in the NCAA tournament. Those close matchups are always in need of experience, shooters, and they have all of that for them.
And both of you all know that today is Marquette Basketball Day. So what do you think that this means for both the men's and women's basketball programs?
It's huge for the city, Andrew, especially because we live in a city that has just crowned the Milwaukee Bucks as 2021 NBA champions. Yeah. And I think that's a testament to say that this is a basketball city, and today being Marquette Basketball Day for both the men's and women's has to be huge for the program, knowing the success of the Bucks this summer.
Yeah, I think it's big. Shaka's in his 1st year here. The women's team is coming off of playing against UConn in that Big East championship. The Bucks, like Aiden said, just had their championship. But both teams, both programs have a history of success, especially the men's team. The Al McGuire days were very successful. Buzz Williams was able to make it far. And so if both teams are successful, and then with the Bucks, that's just going to mean great basketball for the city of Milwaukee, and hopefully bring recruits and things like that.
What a time to be alive for sure. But Aiden, I want to go back to you about the men's basketball team because there's so much uncertainty about the team. There's new players. There's Greg Elliott. But we're going to focus on him. He hasn't been playing. Do you know what's going on with Greg Elliott?
Yeah, so Coach Smart told us after Thursday's exhibition that he was suspended for the first 4 games of this regular season for failing to adhere to the team conduct policies. So we will not see him for the first 4 games of this first season, and that's undoubtedly going to leave a hole because of what we talked about earlier, the lack of experience, only 3 returning players on this Marquette team. He's one of them, and as the oldest guy on the team, he leaves a huge hole.
Yeah, well, we'll have to see what the team does without him. But thank you guys so much for this great discussion. We're out of time, but be sure to tune in next week for all our coverage of Marquette sports and more. For Kaylee Starrell, I'm Andrew Muzu. Good night, Marquette.
After you joined our family, it was like, I really do feel complete now.